Hello, dear students. I am Dr. Govind Sarswat, and today we will discuss William Cowper's famous poem on the receipt of my mother's picture. This poem was written in 1798 and is also known as On the Receipt of My Mother's Picture out of Norfolk. Basically, this poem is an elegy uh, on the death of William Cowper's mother, Anne Cowper. She died when William Cowper was 6 years old. And in 1790, when Cowper was of the age of 58, he received a picture of his mother from his cousin, which inspired him to write this elegy, lamenting the loss of his mother. तो जो बैकग्राउंड है इस पोएम का वो ये है कि विलियम कूपर ने ये पोएम अपनी मदर की याद में लिखी है। जब वो 6 साल का था तब उसकी मदर की डेथ हो गई थी। एट दैट टाइम ही वॉज ओनली 6 years ओल्ड। और जब वो 58 साल का हुआ 1790 में, तब उसकी कज़िन ने उसकी मदर की जो पिक्चर है उसको दी, और उस पिक्चर ने ही उसको इंस्पायर किया कि वो इस तरह से एक एलिजी अपनी मदर की याद में लिखे। तो शुरू करते हैं। He says that, oh, that those lips had language. Life has passed with me but roughly since I heard thee last. He places the picture in front of him and he begins to address it and says that he has led a very painful and wretched life after the death of his mother. He looks at the lips in the picture and says that they were painted exactly like what they were in reality. He remembers her sweet smile, which can emanate from only her lips. The poet remembers the language of his mother, which had soothed him in his childhood. As he says, those lips are thine, thine only, thy own sweet smiles I see, the same that often in childhood solaced me. So he is in a way thinking of his happy past when he was living happily with his mother, and he is in a way presenting a contrast between his life with his mother and then without his mother. From the very beginning, the grief of the poet can be seen very clearly when he addresses the picture of his mother and starts talking with her and expressing all that he has in his heart, and he wishes that if his mother could speak at this present moment. And he confesses that after your death I have passed through my life in a very rough manner. Life has been very rough. I was alone without the shelter of you, my mother, and then he talks about the lips of his mother and the sweet smile that he remembers uh, regarding her mother, and then he says that I used I used to be very happy when I saw your smile that solaced me in my childhood. Voice only fails, else how distinct they say, grieve not my child, chase all thy fears away. Even though he cannot hear her voice now, he remembers her words softly urging him, consoling him not to grieve and to chase his fears away. The meek intelligence of those dear eyes. Blessed be the art that can immortalize the art that baffles time's tyrannic claim to quench it. Her signs here shines on me still the same. He remembers her gentle, intelligent eyes, which still shine on him in the same way as they used to shine on him in his childhood. And what he has written in the bracket suggests, and it the poet here expresses his gratitude to the immortalizing power of art, which can baffle or obstruct the cruel and oppressive claim of time. So, in the very first stanza, the poet is very emotional, watching the picture of his dead mother, and he's he all of a sudden he is reminded of everything that he has experienced when he was with his mother, and he and here his grief finds an outlet, and he confesses that his life was very happy when she was alive, and she used to console him. She was like a shelter for him, and after she has gone, his life is very rough now, and he now feels the lack of her blessing, and he misses her smile, her kind words, and the look of her loving eyes, and he feels that uh, this picture just makes him feel all those things of the past in his present. He is again living his life, long loved, lost life. Then, in the second stanza, the poet says, "Faithful remembrance of one so dear, O welcome guest, though unexpected here, who biddest me honor with an artless song, affectionate, a mother lost so long, I will obey, not willingly alone, but gladly as the precept were her own." Cooper here welcomes his mother's memories, fueled by the unexpected picture of his mother. If he feels honored by his mother's affectionate presence as she was absent for such a long time, and he calls the picture of his mother a perfect representation of his dear mother. He says that the picture brings his dead mother very truly before his eyes. He had not expected to receive the picture after so long a period that has passed after his mother's death. So, I have told you that he lost his mother at the age of 6, and when he was 50, when he's at right now he's 58 years old. When this poem was written, he received this picture, so he lost all his hopes, and all of a sudden he was given as a present. He was given this picture as a present by his cousin, so it was a very valuable, very lovely and sweet surprise for him. That's why he addresses and calls it a perfect representation of his dear mother. He says that this picture is like a welcome guest to him. He's very happy to get this picture, and and then he begins to celebrate the memory of his long lost mother with a song, though simple and unskillful. Affectionate, a mother lost so long, I will obey not willingly, alone but gladly as a precept for her on. He says that The song, the present poem, is indeed an artless song, and the poet is trying to pay his tribute to his long dead mother in the form of this song. And the poet says that he would do it not only without raising any objection, but with the greatest pleasure to himself, as if the command had come directly from his mother. So he says that uh, being happy, he wants to express his love for his mother, and his attempt is very mild, humble. The poem may not express whatever he has in his heart, but even then, it is just an attempt to uh, to show his honor, to offer his honor for his mother, and and then he says that it seems as if he has been inspired by his own mother. And then he says, while that face renews my filial grief, fancy shall be with charm for my relief, shall steep me in Celian reverie, a momentary dream that thou art she. So the poet says that writing a song in the memory of his mother will give him a, a great joy, as doing or following the command of his own mother. The picture reminds the poet of his dead mother, and so he is full of grief for his mother who is no more. The poet, however, feels joy with the help of his imagination. He says that although at the sight of that face of his mother in the picture, his sorrow for his mother is reawakened, yet he would console himself with the magic influence of his imagination. He would indulge, though only for a time, in the happy dream that the figure in the portrait was actually his mother. The point implies that he would console his grief for the loss of his mother by thinking that his mother was really present before him in the portrait. And here we can see an example of allusion. Uh, Assyrian means perfectly blissful. It is from the Greek mythology, and there in the Greek mythology, it is used as the abode of the good and the heroic people after death. So when he says that when he watched that picture, all his grief was renewed, and he says that although I am grief, I am full of sorrow, but even then I will use my imagination and do something in order to relieve myself, and will try to relate something related to his mother from the and he can imagine her mother to be living in that abode, Elysian abode, where the people who are good, who are brave, they they go there after their death. And he says that her memory is so dear to him that he will try to write down something and will feel a kind of solace, a kind of consolation. His uh, his remembrance is so pure and still fresh. So these are the two opening stanzas of this elegy. We will discuss the remaining part in the next lectures. Thank you for listening me carefully.